For nearly 2 centuries, waves of European soldiers marched thousands of miles toward the Holy Land, driven by faith, ambition, and the promise of salvation. What began as a religious call to arms became one of history's most consequential and controversial series of wars. This is the Crusades Explained.
A like helps the channel grow. Your subscription helps keep history from being forgotten. Pope Urban II's call to arms? The Crusades emerged from a complex mix of religious devotion, politics, and territorial ambition. By the 11th century, Jerusalem and the Holy Land were under Muslim Seljuk Turkish control. Christian pilgrims traveling to Jerusalem increasingly faced restrictions and reported mistreatment. The Byzantine Empire, threatened by Seljuk expansion, appealed to Western Europe for military assistance. In 1095, Pope Urban II delivered a passionate speech at the Council of Clermont. He called upon Christian knights to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim control. Urban promised spiritual rewards, including forgiveness of sins for those who joined this holy mission. This powerful religious motivation combined with opportunities for land, wealth, and prestige. Thousands of knights, nobles, and commoners eagerly answered this dramatic religious call. This response launched the First Crusade, beginning nearly 2 centuries of recurring conflict.
The First Crusade and the capture of Jerusalem. The First Crusade began in 1096, drawing thousands of European soldiers eastward. Crusader forces faced immense hardship, including starvation, disease, and difficult terrain. Despite significant challenges, Crusader armies achieved several important early victories. In 1098, Crusaders successfully captured the strategically significant city of Antioch. Crusader forces continued advancing steadily toward their ultimate goal of Jerusalem. In 1099, after a difficult siege, Crusaders successfully captured Jerusalem itself. The conquest was marked by extreme violence, with widespread massacres of the city's population. This brutal capture became a defining, deeply controversial moment in Crusader history. Following victory, Crusaders established several new Christian territories throughout the region. This unexpected success dramatically inspired further waves of crusading efforts in following decades.
The Crusader States. Following the First Crusade, victorious Crusaders established several independent Christian territories. These included the Kingdom of Jerusalem, along with Antioch, Edessa, and Tripoli. Collectively, these territories became known as the Crusader States, or Outremer. European nobles governed these territories, blending Western feudal structures with local customs. Crusader states maintained complex, often tense relationships with neighboring Muslim territories. Trade and cultural exchange occurred alongside continued military and religious conflict. These states remained vulnerable, heavily dependent on continued military support from Europe. Internal political rivalries frequently weakened unified Crusader defense and governance. Surrounding Muslim powers gradually became more unified and militarily organized in response. This vulnerability eventually contributed significantly to future Crusader military defeats. The Second and Third Crusades, Saladin and Richard the Lionheart. In 1144, Muslim forces recaptured the Crusader territory of Edessa, prompting renewed conflict. This loss triggered the Second Crusade, though it ultimately achieved little military success. Decades later, the powerful Muslim leader Saladin emerged as a formidable unifying force. Saladin successfully united previously divided Muslim territories against Crusader control. In 1187, Saladin achieved a decisive victory at the Battle of Hattin. This victory allowed Saladin to swiftly recapture Jerusalem from Crusader control. Jerusalem's fall shocked Europe, prompting the launch of the Third Crusade. English King Richard the Lionheart became a central figure during this significant campaign. Despite notable military successes, Richard ultimately failed to recapture Jerusalem itself. Richard and Saladin eventually negotiated a truce, allowing continued Christian pilgrimage access.
Military orders, Templars and Hospitallers. The Crusades gave rise to unique religious military organizations known as military orders. The Knights Templar formed in 1119, originally protecting Christian pilgrims traveling to Jerusalem. Templars quickly evolved into an elite, highly disciplined military and religious organization. The Knights Hospitaller similarly combined military duties with medical and humanitarian care. These orders built extensive networks of fortresses throughout Crusader territories. Members took religious vows, combining monastic discipline with rigorous military training. Military orders became crucial defenders of Crusader states against continued Muslim resistance. Over time, these orders accumulated significant wealth, land, and political influence. The Templars, in particular, developed sophisticated financial and banking practices across Europe. These powerful religious military organizations profoundly shaped medieval European society and warfare.
The Fourth Crusade and the sack of Constantinople. The Fourth Crusade, launched in 1202, dramatically diverged from its original religious purpose. Financial difficulties led Crusader leaders into a complicated political entanglement. Venetian merchants, financing the expedition, redirected Crusader forces toward Constantinople. This diversion resulted from complex political disputes involving Byzantine imperial succession. In 1204, Crusader forces shockingly attacked and captured the Christian city of Constantinople. This dramatic event resulted in widespread destruction, looting, and violence against fellow Christians. The attack severely weakened the Byzantine Empire, a supposed Christian ally. This controversial event significantly damaged relations between Eastern and Western Christianity. Many historians consider this diversion a profound betrayal of the Crusades' original religious purpose. The Fourth Crusade remains one of history's most controversial and consequential military campaigns.
Later Crusades and their failures. Following the Fourth Crusade, subsequent crusading efforts increasingly struggled to achieve lasting success. The Fifth Crusade targeted Egypt, but ultimately ended in significant military failure. King Louis IX of France led two separate, ultimately unsuccessful crusading campaigns. Louis himself was captured during the failed Seventh Crusade, later ransomed for enormous sums. The rise of powerful Muslim dynasties, including the Mamluks, further weakened Crusader positions. Crusader territories steadily shrank due to continued military pressure and internal instability. European enthusiasm and support for continued crusading gradually diminished over subsequent decades. Internal political and religious distractions within Europe further reduced crusading momentum. Crusader states increasingly struggled to maintain effective defense against determined Muslim forces. This gradual decline set the stage for the eventual, definitive collapse of Crusader territories.
The end of the Crusades and their lasting legacy. In 1291, Muslim forces captured Acre, the last major Crusader stronghold in the Holy Land. This decisive defeat effectively marked the definitive end of significant Crusader presence. Despite periodic later crusading efforts, none achieved lasting territorial success in the region. The Crusades significantly influenced medieval trade, cultural exchange, and technological development. Increased contact between East and West introduced new goods, ideas, and knowledge into Europe. The Crusades also left a lasting, deeply complicated legacy regarding religious conflict and tolerance. Relations between Christianity and Islam were profoundly shaped by this prolonged historical conflict. The Crusades significantly influenced later European concepts of holy war and religious justification. Modern historians continue debating the complex motivations, consequences, and lasting significance of the Crusades. This remarkable historical episode remains deeply influential in shaping medieval and modern religious relations.
Fought across nearly 2 centuries and thousands of miles, the Crusades left a complicated legacy of faith, conquest, cultural exchange, and lasting religious tension that still shapes our world today. If you enjoyed this journey through the Crusades, subscribe for more epic historical conflicts, and let us know in the comments which era we should explore next.